our training here at another session that is on working with the insert menu. So what all do we intend to cover in the insert menu? Okay, let us quickly, as we launch the software, let us quickly go through the insert menu and what all will be the course contents or what all will be the contents covered in the insert menu. Fine, so we'll be creating a new or duplicating page for the report views for starting. Now, when I say inserting new, adding new visuals means what? Visualizations that we have here in this particular field out here on visualizations and the filters and the fields that we have. We'll be adding the new visuals. So we'll be adding the visualizations and learning how to add them. Obviously, we have done this in one of our previous examples also, but we've not gone into the detailings of each of the visualizations as such. So we'll also understand some of the visualizations as to what are they and what all do they mean and what all will they throw up eventually on the screen. Yes, we'll be inserting AI visuals QA. When I say AI visuals means what? When I come here on insert menu, we see AI visuals. These are artificial intelligence related visuals, such as a key influencers, decomposition tree, and smart narrative. That is something we'll cover, of course. And that apart, we'll also be working with elements such as text buttons, text box, buttons, shapes, and images that we see here. Yeah, in the elements that we see text box, buttons, shapes, images. And if you click on buttons, then there are different types of buttons again. The navigator also, there are different types of navigator that we have. Again, in case of shapes, we have a decent count of steps, shapes here that are rectangular, basic shapes, and block arrows and things like that. Much of this you will find similar to Microsoft Excel, except that there are some features which we don't have in Excel. So that is, yeah, and this is a very dedicated software for business intelligence and business analysis or business analyst work that we do, which makes work far easier and simpler from the data visualization perspective. In Excel, there is some amount of manual work that goes into it, but out here it gets rather swiftly and quickly done. So that's the significance of Power BI. Moving on. Yes, and the last point will be working with Power Platform Reports, which is on Power Apps, Power Platform Reports, Power Apps, and Power Automate. These are some of the points that we will be working on, contents that we'll be working on for the insert menu. Fine, so now that we have launched the software already, let's quickly go into the Power BI. Fine, let us quickly launch. Let us launch the data set. So let me click on here, import data from Excel. Out here, I'll go on our data set. And let us pick any one random data. Let us select paints. So I click on paints and I click open. So the data set that we see will be loaded out here in the fields section. And yes, we have one sheet here. It's not too much. It's more of the price data that we have. And then we also have the returns values out here, RRR that you see here, they are returns values. So I'm selecting sheet 1 and I click load. One of the loaded queries contains errors. View errors, or we can close the sheet also, that's fine. So we can close it. Let's click on view errors and see what is it. So that's something that came up, but yeah, there are pending changes in your queries that haven't been applied. So apply changes. The queries metadata. Okay, the load is completed. So there was some kind of a metadata error, which is not part of the worksheet error, probably it's internal systemic error. Okay, we've loaded sheet 1, right? So we want to create a new or duplicate page for the report views, right? So what I'm doing is, these are the pages that are, these are the columns that are available. We see most of these are summation values that we see here, but this is not a summation value. This is typically a date, which is a date time data type. Most of these are numeric data types that we see here. Launch this. So I'm adding close. I'm taking all the close values 1, 2, and 3. So these are the 3 close values that I've taken here against the respective dates. So what I'm seeing here is, okay, so typically what happened is, now this window out here is creating, it has selected the clustered column chart. It selected this chart on default. If you want, we can also create a custom clustered bar chart. Out here it has taken a clustered column chart. Why did it take a column chart typically? Because the data set is such that a Power BI sometimes itself decides as to which kind of a chart can it throw up or put up. So if you want, we can change it over here as a bar chart also. So this is how it will look like. So your the year-wise values will come on the y-axis, and these values will come on the x-axis. The close price values will come on the x-axis. Now let us expand this or take this into the focus mode, and I'll close these. So what do I see here? Out here I see Nerula close, Berger close, and Asian close by year. So that is the description of this that we see here. And out here we are seeing the different years, that is 2020, 2021, and 2022. So in year 2021, the close prices were the highest for Asian close that we see here. And in 2020, it was second highest, and third highest it was out here. In 2022 so far, because we are still in 2022, of course. And then we see Nerolac was highest in 2021 and second highest in 2020, and so far we are in 2022. So these numbers are not quite having any significant impact. But still, what we see here is we've gone past like almost the first 7 months of 2022, and this value is practically half of the 2020 value that we see here. That is 477, 684 for 2020 for Asian close prices. Out here it's 268. So it's relatively half of that, or slightly higher than half. And there is still quite a bit of time still left. So this is how we create the new page, and this is how we create the visuals. Of course, let us now create a duplicate page for this. We would like to add something also in this. So I'll click on back to report here. I'll reduce the size. So I'll stretch this up and click it over here somewhere in the corner. And I'm adding a duplicate page for the report views. Okay, I added a new visual. And I'm now duplicating a page for the report view. After this, fine, let's come back on the software here. Right now, that was the error that came up out here. It is there, but let us retain it as is. That's a Power Query editor that opens up for any errors that might have come up. So there is an error which is shown in the Berger panes column. So date format error, invalid cell, whatever. So there is, but we can afford to ignore it for now. I'm going to insert the duplicate page. So I'm selecting on insert, click on new page, and then I select duplicate page. Again, it's on the insert menu as we are discussing. Thereafter, I'm clicking on new page. Then I'm clicking on the duplicate page. So again, I can see here it's written duplicate of page 1. Out here in the bottom left hand bottom corner, the sheet, the new worksheet that we generated is that of the duplicate of page 1. Now, why did I do that? There is some work that we just created a report over here, but I want to work on the report in a more polished manner. I want to make some changes over here. To avoid doing so on the page 1, I chose to create a duplicate page, and now I'll be making the changes out here. So what I'll do is I want to supposedly say I want to add a text box. I want to work with elements such as add a text box, buttons, shapes, and images. So I have to work with elements. I come back here on page 1 on Power BI on the duplicate page, and I'm going to select text box here. You can see it here, elements, that is here, that's elements section. I'm selecting a text box. The text box, I'm pulling the text box, placing it over here somewhere. Bit of a stretch, and here. So you can feel that there is some kind of a blur out here, or blackout out here. Not blackout essentially, but you're not able to see the values here or the chart. That is because this particular window has opened up. If I select to click here, then you will be able to see it. But then there was a text box again. I'm selecting it, comes here, selecting a text box, dragging it over here in the side. I'm just typing in some comparison. So it's like, comparison of close prices of paints companies. Nerolac Asian and Berger paints. Next line. It is noticeable that Asian paints close prices are the highest amongst all the three paints companies. 2021 was the year when Asian paints close prices clocked the highest value. This is the comment that I posted over here. Now what I'll do is I'll process this. Oh, fine. This is how it looks like. Another text box that we had created. So I'm removing that text box. So this is how I'm creating a comment or a text box for the graph. If I take it here, we can see this, what all is there as part of this visual. So this is how we are creating a new duplicate. We are creating a duplicate page of any report view, adding a text box and adding visuals. Working with the insert menu as we see here. Now let us work a bit more on the text boxes and buttons and shapes and images, and also with the Q&A, key influences, smart narrative, and decomposition trees. Again, all of this we are doing it on the duplicated page. So let us click on the decomposition tree. Add decomposition tree visual to your report. So I'm clicking on that. As you can see it, it's AI visual. So let's click here. Now that's the decomposition tree that I'm having here. Let us write. We'll reduce the size of our text box. Stretch it over here. Okay. Now in the decomposition tree out here that we see, select or drag fields to populate this visual. So as you can see here, out here you can see that we need to select or drag fields to populate this visual. So what fields do we have here? Well, these are the fields that we have here. So let us take all the R values, 1, 2, and 3. They didn't come up, all of them. And the dates. Wait, high value. Okay. The values that we have selected here. Now, we added all these values and okay, let's come back. Let us come to this again. I have added the decomposition tree out here. Now adding the visuals. So I'm selecting all the R, that is the returns values that we see here. And I'm also adding the dates. Let's go back to, I'll click on this plus sign that you see here. Choose how to split your data. So let's click on that. How do you want to click your data? You want to click your data, how you want to decompose your data, what? Monthly, quarterly, or yearly? So I'm selecting quarterly. So you can see here that for our Asian, we have selected the quarterly data, and out here in the quarterly data. So you see here that the given values, they have been decomposed as Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. And for all the 4 values that we see here, they are for the quarterly data. If you want, you can also change this to monthly data. So if you see here, this monthly data out here, if I stretch this here, this is movable across the sheet on the canvas. And when you drag this on here, this will come to December. So December, November, October, September, all the values that we are seeing here, they are visual, they are viewable out here. This is how you work towards the decomposition trees. So now you can also lock this. If I click on lock level, that's it. So this will only be working for the monthly basis. This is now locked for the monthly decomposition, as we see here. And we can see here for January, it was higher, it was lower. For March, it was higher. So out here, you can see that the blue values here that you see, they are for positives. And the very dark blue values that you see, light blue values here are for positives. And the dark blue values that you see here, they are for negatives. I'm unlocking this level lock. I'm clicking on unlocked. So the level is now unlocked. And now you can scroll down. For scrolling down, you'll have to use your upper key and the lower key, left key, right key on your keyboards, on a keyboard. So, and then you can see and study. Now, if you want to reduce this further, decompose this further on daily basis, then that is also possible. So what I'll do is I drag and drop this over, drag it over here on the sides. And if I click on the month of January and I'm coming here, I click on this plus sign here. Again, I'm doing all this for decomposition tree. So I click on this. I'm clicking day wise. Now there is going to be a bit of a, now so you can see here what are the days that are available over here. So that is for the 10th day that we see here. You can also scroll down further until the 31st day, as we see here. So if you want, now depending upon how you choose to decompose it, you can either keep it yearly, quarterly, monthly, or even daily. And then, right. So out here we see for our Asian, we are seeing, I'm deselecting Berger and Nerolec. Okay. I'm selecting only Asian Paints returns value for monthly and daily data. If we want, we can also change it over here. I can click here and change it to what? Quarterly. So this will become quarterly. And out here on the, I split here as what? Daily. What you can do is you can arrange this data on yearly, monthly, quarterly, and daily. I have not put in here the yearly data. That's fine. But we can do that also. So if I come here, I can select yearly also. So this is the yearly data. This is how you have to work on the decomposition tree. And once you are working on the decomposition tree, you will come to know where and how all does the data appear to be. First quarter, that is what you see here. That's for the first quarter that we selected. So for the first quarter, we are seeing these values. Again, for the month of March, if I select here, then it will come in the second quarter. So it will show as only second quarter. If I click on the month of May, again, that is only second quarter. So it will show only up till June, you will see only second quarter out here. If I click on July, this will change to third quarter. So when you select on quarterly basis, it's the total count of months that are covered on in that particular quarter. So if I speak of first quarter, it will be Jan, Feb, March, second quarter, April, May, June, third, July, August, September, and October, November, December. That will be for the fourth quarter. So if I click on September here and scroll down here on October, this quarter 3 will change to quarter 4. So click on that. Yep. Now that's what we have here. Quarter 4. Now for the fourth quarter, in the month of October, how was the performance on the basis of days is visible out here. Now let's see if I click on the model. Nah, it will not show up over here. If I click on the table, again out here also it will show up only the data. Let's go to the report value. So for each quarter, for that particular month, you can see the daily movements also out here as part of the decomposition tree. Again, I'm going back to report and let us keep saving this. Save as what? Let us go to that is for working with AI decomposition tree. So this is how you work with the decomposition tree. I'm saving this. Or let us keep it as working with AI only, because we are covering decomposition tree also. And then we'll cover something else too. So let's go back to report and let us insert a small view, a small note text box out here. Text box. I'm dragging this. Oops, where is it gone? This is one shortcoming of Power BI that you're not able to retrace this. Come back here, select it. Okay, let us okay, there is a text box here that I see. Let us delete this one, because what happens is it creates many text boxes that we need to drag it. So out here I'm mentioning here decomposition tree for what? Our Asian. I'll reduce this further, the box, and I'll drag it over here. And I'll place it over here smartly so that, and let us drag this decomposition tree slightly up out here, and also its text box. If I stretch this here, yes, only problem here is this text box does not come with this. But never mind, this is only meant as base dashboard like view. This is, of course, the duplicate of the page one. So this is how you will be working as far as the decomposition trees are concerned. So fine. I'll put an end to this here, and then I'll come back on key influences and some of the smart narratives also. Working with the insert menu, let's quickly go back to Power BI out here, and now let's work on the key influencers. So add a key influencer visual to your report. And so, what do you wish to add? Ask questions about your data in natural language to create new visuals. Okay, let's select Q&A. So that's what we have here. And let's click on the focus mode. Oops, no, that's not this. Okay, you don't get any focus mode out here, is it? Show all the suggestions. Now, what happens is when you add this, it creates a Q&A type pattern, which is, of course, an AI visual feature. So it suggests you which all type of questions can you ask to get a better understanding of the report view. So let's select total R Asian, suppose. Let's click that one. The value is being shown up over here. That's 0.63. That's one such question. So if you have created any visual and if you have any queries arising or pertaining to that visual, you can use this feature. Let us do one thing. Instead of using this window, what I'll do is I'll go back to our previous page. So I'll remove this. I'll come over here. You already have this. So I'll click on Q&A. So we now have the Q&A prepared and ready. Now, this is not a good idea. Actually, they should have a focus, but I think as part of the overall process, they do not have this feature. So, okay, never mind. So these are the suggestions that they've asked for. So what's the total of R Berger? So I click on total of R Berger. So out here, that is showing us 0.36. Again, when I speak of R Berger, okay, it's not Berger. It's only R Berger. That is now R is the returns value that I have calculated. You can show all the suggestions. So sheet 1 sorted by Narrowlag or sheet 1 sorted by R Berger, suppose. Let's select sheet 1 sorted by Narrowlag. So I'm selecting this. Now let's see if there is going to be any effect of this choice on the given graph. So let's select this. On this graph, on the given visual, or on sheet 1 out here that we see in the fields column out here. So let's select that. Oh, none of that. However, we see here that the change that was there is now evident over here. So like earlier it was Asian, now we sorted it for Berger close. Now let's see if this effect is reflected on the data set here. Yes, we see that effect out here. And if you want to again select here, no, I don't want this, so I'm closing this. Anyway, let's go on the decomposition on the model. There are no changes in the model really. So out here we see that sheet 1 has been sorted by Narrowlag. That is one thing that we see here. Now, what is this? You can turn this Q&A result into a standard visual also. And if you click on that to understand people better, view questions and ask and manage terms you added. So if I write here, if I type in here, highest Berger close, suppose if I select highest Asian close, that is what 3.57K. That is the max of the Asian close. If I suppose come here on Asian close, if I select all the values, descending, ascending to descending, or descending to ascending, suppose. What is the value that we saw? See, 3.57K, right? That's the max close. So I'm verifying it out here. So it's 3.57 max. Now this is what we are seeing as part of the AI visuals pertaining to the Q&A. So this is one such feature that we have here. Now I could have added this feature, the duplicate page also, except that we don't have enough space here. So this is how your Q&A feature works in Power BI. you can insert that particular feature in your report views also. This is one particular thing. Let us also work towards the key influences and see how key influences impact or affect the fields that we work on. So again, let's go back on page 1, and I'm selecting here. Okay, we'll reduce this out here. I'll select key influencers and select to drag the fields to populate the visual. That's what it wants us to do. What are the key influences in, let's say, Asian close? Okay, no fields have been selected, so I'm bringing it over here. It's running the analysis, as you can see here, and let's maximize this. Yeah. Now see, now that this feature is available over here, that wasn't quite available in Q&A. What are the key influences? What influences Asian close to increase? It goes up 607.75. The average of Asian close increases by 604.3. When Asian close goes up 607.77, the average of Asian close increases by 604.3. So that is one key influencer. If I click on top segments, we see here in segment 1, when the average is 3.41k, the population count is 30. As the segment count increases, the average of the Asian close reduces. So as this increases from 30 to 59, this reduces from 3.41k to 3.25. So there is a downward trend that I am seeing here. So that is one important learning that you have from the insert features, the inserts AI visuals features, that is that of key influencer. Likewise, when the Asian close is changed from high to low, yeah, we can see that there is an increase. Now that is count increases, then this can also increase. Out here, when the count was increasing, this was reducing. This is one such kind of analysis that we can use on a data set. This again pertains to what? This again pertains to the key influencers. Let us go on the smart narrative. So I'm going back to the report. It looks like we are not having adequate space. So we'll drag this up here. And I'm going to add what? Smart narrative. Across all the metrics, narrow close has the most important. Okay, so across all the metrics, they have created a narrative that we see here. So what do I see here? Now, this is the narrative that has been created, of course, for the data that we have out here on for the report that we are creating. So what do we see here? Well, we see that across all the metrics, a narrow close has the most interesting recent trend and started trending down on 2020, falling by 63.80%. In 2 years. Narrow close dropped from 1117,433 to 42,506 during its steepest decline between 2020 and 2022. This is the narrative that the smart narrative feature automatically derives from the given data set or the given fields that we are putting under analysis. So this is something very remarkable when we speak of Power BI, that the AI visuals features that we have herein, they are most usual and most appropriate. And of course, you can use your own brains and you can use your own mind to conduct the analysis. Some of these AI visual features that we have here, they are very good features, and you can altogether generate a report out of it if you are able to use these features effectively or make the choice of your fields more reasonably, of course. Let us save this. This is very interesting and very important. I'm saving this on the current report. I'm also saving this as a duplicate report also. So out here we discussed all the AI visuals we have discussed. We also used the working elements and shapes and images and sizes. We'll come to that again. We will now need to work on Power Platform reports, Power Apps, and Power Automate. Some of these features are dependent on other apps also from Microsoft. The insert menu, let us take a quick and a closer look at buttons, shapes, and images. Now, these are some very frequently used features across the different softwares, but out here we are going to use it slightly differently, not essentially though, but okay, let us do one thing. Let us create another duplicate page. Again, I click on new page. I click on duplicate page. So again, it's creating duplicate of page 1. So that is duplicate 2. Let us make this duplicate 2 of page 1. Now, please don't get confused as far as the duplications are concerned. Understand the objective and the conceptual requirement that we are working towards. Out here, we intend to add some buttons and text. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of some of these AI visuals that we have. So I'm clicking on this, I'm removing this. I'm getting rid of this one as well. The reason we are doing this is we need more space to work on really. So I'm removing that one as well. Again, as I said, the objective is for us to work on the elements. So fine, let us add some shapes out here. Add shape to your report, or we can also add an image to your report. What kind of image do we want to add? But we can certainly add some shape. So let us add some shape here. So that's the block arrow that we have here. That's too big. So I'm going to make it smaller. Let's bring it over here. What does this indicate? Well, we are not indicating it anything so far. So this is, and if I add a text box over here. So let us add this over here. So this text box indicates what? It gives us the reports on paints price data. That is why I'm using this particular arrow or the shape as. So fine, this is how it looks like. And if you want, you can also add another sheet out here. Suppose if I were to, oops, wait. Okay, fine, it is taking the visuals itself. I'm going to make this a clustered bar chart again. So what I can do is, no, wait, that was the clustered bar chart for the price data. I'm going to prepare a clustered bar chart for the returns data. So that's RRR value that we have picked here. And let us see if we can prepare a line chart. No, line chart won't happen. Stacked area chart, no, not that either. Stacked bar chart, no, that's not what we are looking for. We are selecting the column chart itself. That's the clustered bar chart. Okay. I'm going to drag this here somewhere in the bottom, but before that, let us move this. So this comes here, and we'll stretch this a bit further. And instead of this, let us we'll add another shape also. This one, right hand. Why are we doing this? We're just trying to understand the shape and how to use the shape features. That's it. That's it. And out here, what I'm doing here is this is a report on paints price data and the returns of the price data. That's it. This is how you can add your shape, any random shape that you want to add. And then that's it. Drop it, drag it over here and put it over here. This is how your report should appear or look like. That's a report view again. If you want to go, we'll have to go individually in this only and then we'll check it. Likewise, the same applies here also. It is not much of a change here. You can either add or remove. So when we speak of the shapes, when you add or remove the shapes, you can only add them or remove them or highlight them. Facts. This is what we have as far as the shapes are concerned. And for the buttons, if I were to add any buttons here, let us add a right arrow. We can add a right arrow over here as a button. Yeah, so that's the button that you've added. So when you add this button, what happens? Well, it will take you to the format. Which kind of button do you want? What is the button formatting? The shape is out here. This is a default shape. It's in rectangular shape. You can make it a rounded corner with certain pixel count. And you can work on its rotation, how you want to have it rotated. This is how you can add a button as well. For the images, if I want to click on an image, we have one. And that's a Bitcoin's data that. So I have selected this Bitcoins data and I'm clicking open. So that is the image that you have added. Now, of course, in our case, we are not having anything in particular when we speak of in terms of image addition. We are just adding any random image over here, and that's it. So this is how you can add an image file out here. That is the data highway price movement, and it shows us how it looks like. We can also take another slide out here and let us add it over here. So can we copy it out here? No, you cannot actually. Control X. Yeah, oh, it works. Is it fine? Control V. Yes. This is how you can insert or copy paste your file, the image file that you have. And on the image, if you want, you can do the relevant formatting also. Action is what? Off or on. If you want, you can take it back or make it front. You can create a bookmark, create a destination. You can also add a style to it. So fine, this is how you add some of these features, as I mentioned, the buttons, text, and images. That is what we have as far as working with the insert menu. Of course, we are also VA to work with Power Platform reports, Power Apps, and Power Automate.